Padachhed. All of you can read Devanagari. Okay? No?
Yes.
Okay. These are called segmental. Okay? So we need a segmental. After Padacheda, now we have different padas. What do we need is, what is the analysis of each of the padas? Okay? So what we need is pada parichaya. Pada parichaya. This I call morphological analysis. Pada parichaya. If it is a compound word, say for example, Rajapurushaha, it's not enough to know that it is Prathama Pullinga Ekvachanam. We should also know what are the components in that pada. Okay? So in case of Samastha pada, we should know what are the components. I call it Samastha pada vichedaka. Okay? This is again a kind of segmental. Now, in case of this segmental is doing just padacheda, here even the components within a compound are split. It's also a segment which handles compounds. After we have all the components split, we should also know what is the relation between the components in a compound. Okay? So that module, what should we call? Samastha pada parichaya. Which will tell you what are the relations between various components, etc. Once all these modules are there, next what we need is, if we start with a shloka, what is the Anvaya order? Okay? And then what are the relations between various words? So we need the Anvaya. So there are various substeps involved here, but I just call it a module which tells us about the Anvaya, and this is the parser. Okay? So let me take an example. Rashtriya Sanskrit Sansthan, Delhi. And what they have done is, they have followed the same procedure, same format as that of the Gita Press Gorakhpur books. They have the Padapatha, Padaparichaya, Akanksha, Pranali, Anvaya, etc. for each of the shlokas. Not in fact each of the shlokas, what they do is they combine these shlokas in such a way that it forms one meaningful unit. Something like, what is a meaningful unit, or the Vakya? Vakya, in Mimamsa it is defined as Artha Ekatvat Ekam Vakyam Sakamsham Chet Vibhagesya. So, what is a Vakya? Suppose we divide it in two parts, then there will be an expectancy for some words in the other part. So, they have expectancies. Therefore, you cannot split them. It forms one unit. Meaningful unit also, Artha Ekatva. These two conditions are there. So here in Sankshepa Ramayanam, when they are explaining the shlokas, they follow this principle of Arthaikatva. They see what is the meaningful unit, what is one Vakya, and then for each of these Vakyas, they try to give the explanation, etc. So here is the E version of that. So we see here the Moola Shloka, Tapasvadhyaya Niratam Tapasvi Vagvidambaram Naradam Paripapracha Valmiki Munipundam. This is the Moola Shloka. Now here we see on the right hand side, for each of the words, the Hindi and English gloss is given. And this Tapasvadhyaya Niratam, this was one word, and here the components are being shown. Okay? And they are in various colors. So what are these colors? This particular interface will allow you to see the Shabda Vishleshana, and now you will understand the relevance of the colors. Tapasvadhyaya Niratam, Nirata, this is in Dvitiya, Pullinga, Ekavachanam. Varam, Vara, Dvitiya, Pullinga, Ekavachanam. Okay. Naradam, again you will see, this is in Dvitiya, Pullinga, Ekavachanam. Munipungavam, you have Dvitiya, Pullinga, Ekavachanam. So all the words which are in Vidya Pullinga Ekvachanam, they are in one color. Okay. Tapasvi and Valmiki. Valmiki, Prathama Pullinga Ekvachanam, and Tapasvi is Prathama Pullinga Ekvachanam. Let me hide these Hindi meanings because most of you may not find Hindi relevant. Okay, so let me go back to this again. So we have this complete shloka. Tapasvadhyaya Niratam Tapasvi Vagvidambaram Naradam Paripapracha Valmiki Munipundam. Now we need to do the Anvaya. We want to understand it. We know the Pada Parichaya. Next step is how the words are connected with each other. So all the words here which are in Dvitiya Pullinga Ekvachanam, it's probable that they are Visheshya Visheshan. There is a Visheshya Visheshan bhav between them. So we start first with the verb Paripapracha. Paripapracha is in Kartari Prayog, Lit Lakar, and its meaning is to ask. Paripapracha, somebody asked. So when you hear this, natural akanksha is who asked, whom did he ask, what did he ask? And this is in Kartari Prayoga. So if we know some basic grammar, about basic knowledge about the Sanskrit grammar, namely, if a verb is in Kartari Prayoga, then it is the Karta which is Abhihita or Ukta. Okay? And because of that, it will have Prathama Vibhakti. It will get Prathama Vibhakti. Whereas the Karma is Anukta, Anabhita. So, with his Anabhite, it will get Karma will get Ditya Vibhakti. It is Karmani Ditya, Anabhita. So, the one which is in Ditya is the Karma. The one which is in Prathama is the Karta. So, we have here now Tapasvi and Valmiki. Two words are there. Both of them are in Prathama Vibhakti. And now we appeal to our word knowledge. Tapasvi and Valmiki. Among these, Valmiki is the Visheshya, Tapasvi is its Visheshana. So we have Tapasvi Valmiki is the Karta. Then we have Tapasvadhyaya Niratam, Varam, Naradam and Munipumgavam. Naradam is the Visheshya. Again we are appeal to our world knowledge, the knowledge. So we are now referring to the Padarthas. So till now we were just looking at the Padas and the analysis. Now we are going to the Padarthas. What is the meaning of each of these Padas? And we decide by looking at the meanings that Naradam is the Visheshya, Munipumgavam, Varam and Tapasvadhyaya Niratam, these are the Visheshanas. Varam again has its own expectancy. When we say Varam Sreshta, the greatest among whom. So, we have here Vagvidam Varam. Okay. And now we get a sort of understanding of this sentence of this shloka, which is presented this way. So we have Paripapracha is the verb, Karta is Valmiki, Naradam is the karma. So it is Valmiki who asked, he asked to Narada. Valmiki is Tapasvi, Narada again has three Visheshanas, etc. Tapasvadhyaya Niratam is one Visheshana, Varam is another Visheshana, Munipumgavam is another Visheshana. If we want to understand the meaning of each of these compounds further, Tapasvadhyaya Niratam, what does it mean? So first, as I told you, we should have Samasta Pada Vichedaka, what are the components in it? The components that are involved in this compound are Tapasvadhyaya and Niratam. We should also know how they are grouped together to get the meaning. So, here we have a help. Tapas and Swadhyaya, these are grouped together by iterator dvandva. We get Tapasvadhyaya. And then Tapasvadhyaya and Niratam are grouped together, joined together. The underlying compound is Saptami Tatpurush, and we have Tapasvadhyaya and Niratam. So once we have this meaning, how the meanings of components and meaning of the complete compound, we can now understand the meaning of complete sloka. So have you understood the process that is involved in understanding any Sanskrit text? Okay. So for each of these tasks, we need various tools which help us in understanding. These tools are integrated here to give this. Using these tools, this particular reader is developed. So, in this workshop, you will be knowing how to use these tools first to understand the effect, and then how to use the output of these tools to develop such interfaces. That is the next task which we will be doing. So at the end of the 6th day, on the last day, in fact you will be having such a reader for maybe 1 or 2 shlokas, which you might have developed using the outputs of various tools. One thing I can do is show various tools in just 5 minutes, and then we can go for other system. So maybe we can go to these tools in detail in the lab session. And so there are 2 sets of tools. One developed here in India, which we call Samskruta Sadhani. Sadhani tools. Okay, tools for understanding such methods. And there is another set of tools developed by one man, one man army, Professor Gerard Way. He will be demonstrating his tools. So, and after that, we will have the lab sessions where you will be practicing with both